And, oh, look. The comments that Justin Trudeau made when he was being interviewed by the Iranian, I don't know if they were a delegate or a journalist. Gerry Schwartz has said since then that those comments were actually misreported, and Stephen Lipper also, and they've sent out emails correcting it to their constituents and their supporters. So I'm just wondering if you had anything to say about that.
I never saw what Gerry Schwartz wrote. I'm not a buddy of his, so I never got
he was just referring to your reporting and also to the comments made in the House of Commons by Conservative MPs saying that what Trudeau was saying was anti-Israel. And I guess what Mr. Schwartz and Lipper were saying is that it was misreported, and if you watch the full video in full context, he wasn't sucking up to Jews, as you had put in your article, but he was pandering to a demographic, as every politician does. Would that be fair?
Okay, I have no idea what...
Okay, what are your thoughts then?
Well, I watched the video and I put my thoughts out there.
What are your thoughts? Just in case our viewers haven't read that article.
I think that Justin Trudeau has a penchant for siding with dictators, whether it's China or Russia or Iran. I think, although he, of course, courts the ethnic vote to an extent that I think is almost unhealthy. I mean, the fact that he brags about visiting Wahhabi mosques, I think that goes too far. But he ascribes Stephen Harper's motives in Ukraine and Israel always to pandering to the domestic vote itself. I think that's projection. But I have no idea what Gerry Schwartz said, because I never got his first email or his second email. I just know what I saw in the video and my comments. I don't know if you... I have a TV show and I did like a 10 or 15 minute...
Your rant, right?
Yeah, and I showed the video I was referring to. So
did you show it in full?
No, but I showed all the relevant aspects.
Okay. Don't you think all politicians pander to all demographics to a certain extent?
Well, to a certain extent, yeah.
And so what was different about this?
Well, you're just making me repeat my whole show. I mean, I don't know if you've seen my show, but I go through and I excerpt several times from the video and I give my comments right afterwards. So, you know, I do show the video as the basis for my comments, so I just didn't pull it out of thin air. I show the video. Okay,
and given that you're in court today, and I guess today's the last day, do you think that maybe there's a consistent theme here where being sort of provocative and trying to tell the truth are not necessarily compatible?
Well, I believe in free speech, and...
does free speech include, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but does free speech include sort of tricking viewers sometimes into thinking something that might not necessarily be true for an ideological purpose?
Well, I haven't done that. As I just mentioned to you, when I did my show, I showed the video of Justin Trudeau saying what he said, and then I commented on that video. So people can judge for themselves. I mean, I put the facts out there of the video, and then I give my personal thoughts afterwards, and you can agree or disagree, but I show you the basis of my own comments. I believe in free speech too, so I'm not trying to tell you that you're doing your show wrong. But you're saying that you were implying that I somehow confected some quote from Justin Trudeau. But I don't know if have you seen the segment I did on my show about it?
I have, yes.
Okay, so then you know I showed the video clip of Justin Trudeau.
Right, but I'm just trying to figure out. Different
people can have different interpretations.
No, absolutely.
I'm just saying I put the facts of the video out there.
You just seem to be at odds with a lot of members of the Jewish community that at first agreed with you, and then now when they saw the video in its entirety and not just snippets, they disagree with you. All right, well, I have no idea who you're referring to other than Gerry Schwartz, and I'm not on his email list, so I couldn't even comment. Okay, so then my last question is, the editorializing of news is something kind of new for Canadians.
Not in my opinion. I think that...
on television, anyways.
Well, you haven't been watching David Suzuki for the last 40 years, I guess. Can
you give me a commentator, the equivalent, a sort of news/commentator on the CBC, other than David Suzuki? He's more about nature and the environment. That he's a one-issue guy, but a commentator that's on at nighttime or whatever, that is the left-wing version of Ezra Levant.
Well, I'll give you another director of the David Suzuki Foundation, if you don't mind me staying in that zone. And it's George Strombolopoulos, who has very firm opinions, and they're left-wing opinions.
He's a softball interview guy, though. He doesn't really hit anybody hard.
First of all, depends who he's interviewing. And second of all, he only interviews a certain... I'm not talking about his artsy interviews. I'm talking about his political interviews. he's hard left wing, and he actually is a board member of the David Suzuki Foundation. I don't know if you know that. I got to go back in there, so I don't want to be late.
No, that's okay.
I would say that for the theme of most of your questions, people can see for themselves at my website the video excerpts I made from Justin Trudeau's interview with the Iranian newspaper. If they disagree with me,
but you don't think he's anti-Semitic or anything?
No.
Okay, well that's good.
Okay, see you
Thanks.
later.